Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your February 2016 general readings. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign as well, as these are general readings, and of course, they're not going to mean the same thing to everyone watching to the same degree. So, watch your rising and moon sign too. They may play out a little more predictively for you this month, and watching them may give you additional bits of insight into what's going on in your life over February. Thank you for your continued support and feedback and your comments. Please keep them coming. I do love reading them. Welcome to any newcomers who are with us today. And thank you also to those of you who continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor and a pleasure always to read for you. And I'm grateful for the trust that you place in me to do so. And thank you to my regular clients as well for the feedback you continue to give me. And if anyone is interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, which will give you a little more information and detail, and my contact information in the form of my email, which is Maggie, the number one, McGuire at gmail.com. You can email me directly about setting up a recorded or live personal one-on-one reading. I offer a variety of types and lengths of time. Regular personal readings, year overviews, and also love and relationship compatibility readings. So if you're interested, send me an email, and I would be delighted to work with you. And since I do readings full time, I'm able to get back with you pretty quickly. Current turnaround time for readings is anywhere from a couple of days upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within 2 weeks. So moving right along, let's get into this. This reading is for Sagittarius for February 2017. What does the month of February 2017 have in store for the fire sign of Sagittarius? Sagittarius, February 2017. What is in store for Sagittarius, February 2017? Okay, we begin with the star, followed by the King of Swords. We have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Seven of Cups. We have the World, followed by the Ten of Pentacles, and the Fool, followed by the Ace of Swords. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy is the Ace of Pentacles, so tangible new beginnings. But it looks like some of you are a little stressed out and worried about perhaps a lot of things maybe going wrong, or the possibility of things going wrong. Too much time in your head, I think maybe around the second week or so of February, Sagittarius. So we begin at the beginning of February. Although I am recording these in the last week of January, time being somewhat fluid. We begin with the energy of the star, followed by the King of Swords. So the star is a major arcana card, one of my favorite in the deck. This is the star. This is the card of hope and faith, renewed hope and faith. I often see this card come out when people who have been sick for some time are beginning to make a recovery, people who went through perhaps probably a bad breakup or some very difficult situation, just kind of coming out of it and realizing that there's still blessings in life and there's still opportunities. Life is still meant to be lived. This is a card that asks you to have a sense of renewed hope and faith in the path in front of you, and that path, as directed and led by spirit and universal energies, includes your joy and your fulfillment as a human being, to be the best that you sounds like an army commercial, be the best that you possibly can. It's to have faith in divine timing and orchestration, that things are going to unfold as they're meant to, and that is to your joy and fulfillment as an individual, and will lead to your happiness. It's a card of trusting, even if you can't see the path in front of you, and even if you have worries and anxieties, which it looks like some of you struggle with a little bit, feeling like things are going to play out in your favor, that things are going to work out well for you. This is a card asking you to have a sense of renewed hope and faith. And for some of you, this is the energy that you're coming into at the end of January and beginning of February. And for those of you that feel like you're still in a place where you're struggling, this is the universe universe's message to you, spirit's message to you. Trust, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to unfold as it's meant to, and things are going to work out. Happiness and joy is coming for you. Now, the star card is paired with the King of Swords. Here we have air energy, which is the element that governs the suit of swords. Swords is mental, cerebral, intellectual, airy energy, all about what goes on up here, our belief systems and outlooks, perspectives, and how we communicate those as well. The king would represent as a specific individual in your life. For some of you, this is going to represent somebody in your sphere in the month of February, which is going to play some kind of significant role to you. This could be an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, sun, moon, or rising. Kings and queens represent people who have reached the maturity of their suit, the full achievement of their suit. So more mature, reflective individuals in at least maturity level, if not chronological age. So the King of Swords would represent somebody who's very clear thinking and very much a thinker. Sometimes court cards of the suit of swords can come across as a little emotionally distant or detached. They're not necessarily, but they tend to be people who consider very carefully before making decisions. They're not prone to rushing into anything without kind of weighing out the consequences and thinking everything through because they're all about truth, reality. Um, Sometimes even known for sacrificing their emotions on the altar of truth, of what is. They're usually very intelligent, well educated, well read, into higher education, and curious, often about acquiring. More knowledge, higher education. They're very good people to seek very clear, very honest, informed opinions and feedback and advice from as well. So it looks like this is someone who's going to be playing some kind of significant role in your life in the month of February, Sagittarius. And it could be somebody who's also kind of helping you with this sense of renewed hope and faith. For some of you, this could be the person about you're having that you're having a sense of renewed hope and faith about in terms of perhaps relationship energy, somebody that you may have been at odds with. Um, I feel like there's a chance for new beginnings that this person is somehow tied in with you for in with you in the month of February, Sagittarius. For some of you, this is going to be advice that one of the ways that you can keep with this sense of renewed hope and faith and optimism and trust is to actually manifest the energy of the King of Swords in walking through the month of February. The energy is, for the most part, is pretty bright. It looks like in the second month, and we'll go into that energy in the next set of cards. You struggle a bit with anxiety, worry, and concern. I'm seeing in that Nine of Swords, which is the card of just not being able to sleep, kind of worrying, your thoughts going around and around in your head. And manifesting the energy of the King of Swords, kind of emulating him, is something that you're going to find helpful in kind of working through any anxiety, fears, and concerns you have this month over, I think, whatever this new beginning, this tangible new beginning is for you, whether it's something that is really beginning for you or something that it's an opportunity for. And that is to look at the reality of the situation and kind of set the emotions on the outside of it to look at what the situation actually is, to kind of help combat any fears and insecurities about what might happen, what might not happen, which is where most fear, anxiety, and concerns are born from, trying to pre-write scripts about the future or the past that we can't change. Next, we transition into the energy of this Nine of Swords, accompanied by the Seven of Cups. So the Nine of Swords, this is that staying up late at night card because you can't sleep because you're just kind of consumed with something in your head, fears, doubts, anxieties, concerns, just really kind of consumed about it, being in your head too much, worried about things. The energy of the Nine of Swords is somewhat illusionary, meaning that when this card comes up, it often points to somebody spending too much time in their head worrying about something when the reality of the situation actually doesn't reflect that level of concern. It's not to say that what you're thinking about or have concerns about is not valid, but this is a card of giving out way too much free rent in your head, way too much space, maybe thinking about things in the past that have already gone on that you can't change, or worried about things in the future, which I think it is for most of you Sagittarians. Just kind of spending too much time worrying about what might happen, what might not happen, instead of actually kind of utilizing this sword energy, this air energy here to kind of one of the greatest tools we can use to put aside fears and concerns, particularly about the future or things that haven't happened yet, is to actually look at what is the reality of it. Be very linear in your thinking about it, which kind of tends to distance, if not banish, unfounded fears about whatever it is the situation is that you're worried about. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's just considering too much in your head. Your overall energy is that Ace of Pentacles, meaning that there is some kind of tangible new beginning or opportunity in front of you. You may be presented with a gift of money or resources, the opportunity to start something new in your life in a tangible way. This could be meaning a way that you can see, touch, and feel. The Ace of Pentacles often comes up for moving, relocating, starting a new job. And all this anxiety energy is accompanied by the Seven of Cups, which is a card that can represent fantasy, distraction, illusion, daydreaming, thinking about a variety of options, sometimes too many options, not being focused and intentional and grounded enough. You can see that each of these Seven Cups is filled with potential, basically, each perfect and possibly beautiful, which of course is not always reality based. And again, this fear and anxiety and concern seems to be centered around, for those of you, it could just be fear about starting a new job, maybe being anxious about whether or not you're up to the task, up to performing. For some of you, this could be fear and anxiety about moving. Maybe some of you are moving or relocating, and you have a lot of worries about it. You're staying up late. It's kind of invading your waking thoughts during the day as well. But I really feel, particularly based on the cards around it, Sagittarius, that your fears are pretty much unfounded, meaning that whatever it is that may be in front of you, this new beginning, the cards surrounding you are asking you to have hope and faith, asking you to take a look at everything you've accomplished, all the hard work you've put into something, and to acknowledge your own value and skills as a human being. It almost looks as if I mean, some of you, this new beginning, even though you may be concerned about it, is quite positive and a real blessing, and you've actually earned it, even though it feels like you're worried about how things are going to pan out, things that haven't actually happened yet. So, Spirit is really asking you to pull that energy back and instead focus it on more positive aspects of this new beginning that's coming for you in the month of February. Now, next we have a beautiful combination of cards. We have the World, another major arcana card, accompanied by the Ten of Pentacles. So, the World is a very powerful major arcana card. This is a card of completion, of reaching a milestone in your life, and taking the time to kind of pause and look at how you got there, how you got to where you are today, looking at where you started, where you are today, and the kind of the path that you've traveled, everything that you've put into it, and acknowledging your own value, your own worth, your power as a human being, everything that you've accomplished and what you might yet be able to accomplish in the future. It is on its surface a card of being on top of the world. It feels as if a lot of you have reached a certain important pivotal point in your life, a milestone, a sense of completion. And perhaps some of this anxiety for some of you is that the path in front of you is not yet clear, and you need to make a decision on what to do. And you're just considering a lot of different things and kind of caught up in worrying about that. But this energy, just like the Star card, asks you to take a minute and pause and reflect. Uh, it really feels like you don't really have much, if anything, to worry about, that you have successfully completed some. There's been some successful completion for you, whatever this point is that you've reached in your life, Sagittarius. And of course, the specific situation is going to vary for those of you watching, depending on what's going on in your life. But it looks like you've done really well to get to where you are today. That World card is paired with the Ten of Pentacles. Here we have Earth energy, which is the element that governs the Suit of Pentacles. Tens is also another completion card. It's like you've reached a major stopping point, or uh, uh, and it feels very positive and congratulatory. You really need to congratulate yourself for this. 10 is another card. 10 is a number that represents completion too, the end of a cycle, the coming full circle of something. The Ten of Pentacles can represent a lot of abundance and prosperity, particularly in financial or physical material matters. It can represent family money, family estate, family business, one that's successful and pretty long lasting, pretty deeply rooted. There's a strong attachment to home and family with the Ten of Pentacles as well. On an emotional and spiritual level, it can represent relationships that are long lasting, that have been that you've been in for quite a long time, and they've been pretty successful because of the amount of time and dedication and love and effort that you've put into them to for it to become so well grounded and so established. Again, it feels like a lot of you, if not most of you, have reached this milestone or completion point, and this anxiety and concern about considering what's in front of you, and perhaps which option to take or which path to choose. I feel like you need to be a little more linear and practical. It feels like too much emotions are kind of clouding it. And in addition to kind of being a little more clear thinking about it, also acknowledge how much you've invested into where you've gotten to, because it really feels like you've gotten to this really it's like you've analogy for the world is that you've climbed the top of a mountain that for some reason this mountain has been particularly significant, and you've reached it, you've done it. So try and pull as much of this energy back from this mental dwelling on what could go wrong, what doesn't go wrong, which path do I choose. It feels like if you just take some time to kind of look at the path you've already walked and set things down in very practical linear order, you're going to know which path to take, and it's going to help negate a lesson and even negate some of these fears and concerns for you. Looks like at the end of the month, we're into brand new, beautiful new beginnings. We have a combination of the Fool, my favorite card, accompanied by the Ace of Swords. You have three cards here that speak about new beginnings. So you've come to some kind of major completion point, Sagittarian, in the month of February, going into the month of February, the end of January. The Fool represents new beginnings, brand new beginnings, kind of like actually that space right before you start the new beginning. You've had this ending, you've had this completion point, you've reached this milestone, and the Fool represents that little almost infinite period of time before something new begins where you're considering the options. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. The possibilities are kind of infinite because you haven't yet taken that first step. The Fool can also represent doing something that you've never done before. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something, taking a risk, or doing something that feels a little risky. And perhaps that's where this fear and anxiety is centered for you, Sagittarius. But the Fool is all about the journey, and he's here to remind us that while it's reasonable and logical to have goals, set goals, and have a destination and work towards those goals, that the real value is in the journey itself, each step of the journey, the lessons learned, and the value of those lessons gained on the journey itself. And sometimes it's perfectly all right and even necessary to step outside our comfort zone and take a risk, do something new, do something different, so that we can attain the possibilities that we wouldn't normally find on the well-trodden path. So it's okay to step outside your comfort zone and do something different. Perhaps this new beginning for a lot of you is something different than you've ever done before, because it feels like you're a little nervous and worried about it. But I don't think you have any reason to. I think you've got this one well in control, and you have everything necessary to accomplish this. Now, the Fool is paired with the Ace of Swords, another card about new beginnings, which is what aces represent. They are the ones, they represent seeds, potential, the beginning of something which has the potential to manifest into its beautiful, uh, 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 complete manifestation of what it's supposed to be. So, this is the Ace of Swords. This is kind of like this is a new way of looking at something, or the beginning of a new outlook or perspective on something. This could be a very sudden aha moment for you, the light bulb going off, an epiphany coming in. The Ace of Swords comes in because swords is all about clarity and truth. The Ace of Swords comes in and it cuts away all that extraneous fantasy and illusion, and puts the emotions aside and exposes and illuminates something for being exactly what it is, the reality of what it is. And I've gotten this card a lot for the signs that I've done so far for February. A lot of things being revealed, eyes being opened, the beginning of a new path, a clarifying new path. And I feel like Sagittarius, you kind of get caught up maybe around the second week of February, the middle of the month. You get caught up in like looking at all these options or maybe worrying about what could go wrong. Am I up to this? What do I do? What happens if this happens? But I feel like you manage to kind of work your way through that by holding on to really who you are, the value of who you are, and everything you've accomplished so far and built up. And that's going to give you that extra kind of stability and courage at the end of the month. You're going to see this in a different light, this brand new beginning. And some of you for whom the path is not clear, it looks like at the beginning of February, even moving into the beginning, at the end of February, moving into the beginning of March, the path, I think, for a lot of you becomes very clear, and your confidence in it becomes very clear too. Now, your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy is the Ace of Pentacles, more earth energy here, and aces represent new beginnings, the start of something. So this is the beginning of something, typically in the physical material world, a new beginning that's very tangible. So this could be moving, relocating, it could be starting a new job, a new career path. The Ace of Pentacles sometimes represents a gift of actual money, finances, resources, which will start you off on a new path. So some of you could be receiving that as well. That kind of propels you into this next phase, this next chapter of your life, because it looks like something is ending, but ending in a successful way. Even if the ending was not wanted, it looks like what you've done, all the effort you put into it was pretty successful in building up this foundation. And now it's time for you to move on and have a new beginning. So Sagittarius, it's a really quite a beautiful, bright reading. The only kind of shadow in it is that Nine of Swords, Seven of Cups energy, and you can work your way through that. Remember that the majority of it is illusionary. We often kind of work things up in our heads, especially doubts and fears about our own abilities, to be worse than they actually really are, if they really are at all. And I think that's all that is, just a little kind of mental, emotional blip for you, because it looks very exciting and kind of a breath of fresh air at the end of the month. So, Sagittarius, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. More importantly, I hope you find it useful, that it brings you a little bit of insight and clarity. And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the February 2017 mid-month readings. And again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at Maggie, the number one, McGuire at gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I will see you all again soon. And until then, as always, Sagittarius, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Bye bye.